My name is Sheldon Wellman. I'm a homeschooler, and just recently I had to, for my language and arts class, I had to write a speech. And I contacted Mr. Smith and asked if I did my speech on flying, if I could give it here at the meeting. He said that that would be great and gave me the email of the vice president, and we got it worked out. So I will be giving you a speech on a condensed history of flight. It has been at the forefront of man's mind since he first saw birds fly. From the development of the early kites and gliders to the Wright Flyer to today's modern airplanes. They all go back to the first flying machines. The real first flying machine was invented in 400 BC in China. It was the kite. The Chinese made colorful kites that they then used for some of their important ceremonies. The kite has been an important device in the history of flight. Now, let us fast forward a couple hundred years to 1485 and the famous Renaissance painter Leonardo da Vinci. Though he is accredited as one of the most famous Renaissance painters, what many don't know is that he is the first to really study flight. He drew many designs, one of which was the ornithopter, which has been proven to fly. Though it has never been used to carry people, it has worked great in model form. Then, from 1799 to 1850, George Cayley, known as the father of aerodynamics, started designing gliders. He was the first to really study and experiment with lift, drag, rudder, and other control surfaces. He kept tinkering until he used a biplane design to make his model stable enough to fly with a person for short distances. He also recognized that if man was to fly, he would need help in the department of power. In 1891, a German engineer, Otto Lilienthal, created a glider. The difference between Otto Lilienthal's and Cayley's was Otto Lilienthal's not only would it carry a person, it would carry them longer distances. After Otto Lilienthal's flight in his glider, an astrophysicist and astronomer, Samuel Langley, recognized for having Langley Air Force Base in Virginia named after him, realized that in order for man to fly, he needed help. Samuel Langley started experimenting with steam power to help man fly. In 1891, his model, known as the aerodrome, flew 3/4 of a mile without stopping before it ran out of fuel. In 1894, Octavian Chanute, an engineer inspired by Otto Lilienthal, began experimenting with flying as a hobby. In 1894, Octavian Chanute published a book entitled Progress in Flying Machines, which was used by the Wright brothers for most of their experiments. Finally, in 1906, two brothers from Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright, made the first powered, heavier-than-air aircraft flight, setting in motion what would be one of the most important inventions of all time, the aircraft. Since then, aircraft have been carrying people and cargo. In 1941, Dr. Hans van Ohan and Sir Francis Whittle designed, tested, and flew the first jet-powered aircraft. From then on, aircraft have been getting bigger, faster, greener, and smarter. Smarter, you may ask? Yes. With the development of the autopilot, aircraft have been getting smarter. The next major accomplishment was in 1970 when Boeing unveiled its 747. The 747 is one of the most recognizable aircraft in the world for two reasons. One, it has 1.5 floors, and two, it carries the President of the United States of America. From then on, aircraft have not undergone major changes until 2005, when the company Airbus unveiled its new A380. It is the first aircraft to have 2 full floors, having 5,146,000 square feet of cabin space, making it the largest passenger aircraft. Also, in 2005, Boeing released its 787 Dreamliner, the first all-composite, except the landing gear, aircraft. Then, in 2010, the Solar Impulse flew for 26 hours on solar and battery power alone. As we look back over the past few hundred years, we see that we have come a long way from where we started. Now, let us look forward from today to tomorrow to the future and see that our aircraft can go further with the development of better solar panels and batteries, to stronger composites, to greener fuels, to smarter autopilots, and to engines that use less fuel and put out less byproducts. Let us move forward and design better aircraft for the future. Any questions?